Howdy, I got something profound for you. I had to write it down. Came up with it about midnight, I think. The surface of Canadian democracy is sprayed with a see-through layer of freedom paint. Below it is a liberal machine, aristocrats, elites, academics, bullies, and weirdos. Under that layer, which is a headline for Canadians to believe, is the very, very small print. The story, the real story. Canadian capitalism is Canadian government controlled by money and rules that they continually bring into place, and they select who they want to be a successful entrepreneur because they get something in return. When a fool knows that he's been fooled by fools and doesn't change it, then he is the real fool. And it is foolish to not believe that the liberals are making their governing system foolproof. Not good. Hey, did you get all that? Really profound stuff. You got to play it again and think about it because it's so true. Let's all be equal as long as I have more. And they select people to make them rich and prosperous. Again, I'm repeating, but they get something back. Kickbacks, don't you know? To lighten it up a little bit when you're deep in thought, here it is, a bagpiper. He was asked by a funeral director to play at a graveside service for a homeless man. So the service was to be at a pauper's cemetery, and the musician, he wasn't familiar with that part of the world, so he got lost. He arrived 2 hours late. There was only the diggers there, and they were sitting down eating lunch with the shovels by their side, and he felt so bad he apologized to them. He went to the side of the grave, he looked down, and the vault lid was already in place, and he didn't know what else to do, so he started to play his bagpipe. The workers, they gathered around, and this guy played his heart out, and heart and soul for this poor homeless man, because he didn't have any friends, and he played Amazing Grace, and the workers began to weep. Everybody was crying, as the bagpipe guy did as well, and finally he finished. He packed up his bagpipes, and his head was hung low, and his heart was heavy, and he jumped in his car, and he drove away. The one worker looked to another and said, you know what, I've never seen anything like that before in my entire life, and I've been putting in septic tanks for 20 years. Now we get on to real stuff. If you're not depressed yet, I'm really going to work on you. Here it is. You got left-wing people, particularly in California, who say poor people, poor, sad little people, let them steal. In California, it's legal to steal upwards, I think it's $940. Anything more than that, you're a bad person. Anything up to that, it's okay. And now you have people in New York saying the same. This one woman, she was a actor, I guess, on that show Sex and the City or something, and she says, hey guys, your drugstores in California and in New York and other states, you're locking stuff up. That's not nice. People need that stuff and they don't have any money. How dare you lock it up? Families can't make ends meet right now, and you need to let them take it without paying for it. That's called theft. She should be locked up in a mental institution. They just keep walking among us. Why don't they go away? Why don't they all move to Iceland or somewhere and just leave us be? Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, he now says this: our relationship with Indian people is broken. Truth and Reconciliation Commission is working to address the issue. What is a Truth and Reconciliation Commission? Shouldn't we have that already? I mean, isn't government based on truth and reconciliation? Aren't we supposed to all be kind of together now? They're supposed to treat us all the same and treat us nice, but we somehow have this separate thing about truth. Okay, what about my people? Those Norwegian, Scandinavian types that came over here in the 8th or 9th century and blah, blah. Come on. I mean, I think government should treat everyone the same. And if there's been an injustice, I don't care what color you are. If you have to go out and create a brand new commission to deal with that color, that means you didn't do your job in the first place. You should be ready for this and get after it. If you find that there was something done that was bad to Indians, to white people, to Scandinavians, deal with it. Newsom, he's the governor in California. He slashed last year $150 million from the wildlife. No, we didn't. Wildfire prevention budget. And then, of course, the worst fires in recorded history happened in that same year. Well, of course, I mean, this is the guy. It's kind of like guns and everything else. I mean, there's too many bad guys shooting good guys, so I'm going to take guns away from the good guys. Blah, blah. And now you have firefighters are doing such a great job, and there's not that many fires, so I'm going to cut their budget back, get rid of a bunch of firefighters. Well, there's a lot of disconnects going on in the world. That same guy now, he's up for recall. 1.7 million verified signatures now have been verified. And he's going to be recalled. And I hope he loses because he's now stepping out like everyone else, like the guy in Alberta saying, I got a lottery now, $1 million for each of you people 3 times, I think, if you get vaccinated. And this guy in California is doing similar things, giving your money away to bribe you. Sadly, it does work. It has worked in the past. We can only hope that this time around people come out of the ether and say, I don't want this to happen. Then you have Joe Biden. He's facing intense backlash now from some remarks he made with regard to Americans who own guns. And he says, you know what, we should limit what you own. And you can't buy a cannon. You can't actually, because I own a cannon. Good people don't do bad things. If these government people would ever get it through their heads and leave us alone and go after the bad guys, we wouldn't have any more problems in life, don't you know? On a real kind of happy big note, in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Resorts World Las Vegas has just recently opened. It's $4.3 billion was the cost. It's a mega resort. It's 66 stories, it has 3,500 rooms, a 5,000-seat theater, 117 game tables, 30, wow. What a big place. I've driven by it before it was open. It's huge. And Las Vegas is open again. Nevada's open again. Canada, get with the program. Get open. Hey, y'all come back. See ya.